Now for the stamped technique, you're going to be using rubber stamps, and if you're not sure if the rubber stamp is going to fit, just use your tile frame and you can see if the stamp you have in mind is going to work. You need to use memory ink. Memory, not StazOn, because we're working with alcohol inks. So use the memories. And then I always blot it a little bit because the tissue paper is really thin. And what you don't want to do is press that tissue paper down with your fingers, because you may pick up some ink and then press it and sort of retransfer it. So just be really careful to use a sheet of paper. Also, when you pull this off, you're going to want to go to your heat gun and dry it. Make sure it's set well onto the tissue. So I've gone ahead and set mine, and I'm looking in the tile frame to make sure I've got it right, and that's great. Now I'm going to pin her down with some Post-its because I want to add some other things. I don't just want just her on the tile, so I'm going to add some words. In this case, I'm going to add giggle. First thing I do is stamp it on a piece of transparency so I can see if it's going to fit and where I'm going to be able to put it. So then I'll memories ink up my giggle and put it where it belongs on that piece of tissue paper, and we're ready to go. Now these rip apart pretty easily, but then you have these gluey thingies on here, so I come in with my button shank to get them off, and it allows me to get really close to the tile and get every little last piece of that gluey thingy off. I'm going to have my dryer ready because I'm going to be flooding these tiles with future floor finish, and it's going to drip. So I've got my alcohol inks ready, and I put some future floor finish onto the tile and flatten it out, no air bubbles. Then I will sit that tissue image and then cover it with future as well. So it's future on the top and the bottom. Now I'm going to start adding my color. I'm going to take a little future floor finish and a little of the alcohol inks and just keep adding color until I'm happy with the design. Now, one technique I want to show you, if the words or any piece comes out too dark, you can come in with a wet wash rag and remove color. Now I can leave that white or I can add yellow. Here's how you make your own alcohol inks. Use the archivals, and I'm just going to put a drop of the coffee and a drop of tangerine into my little paint palette here. And then I'm going to spray them down with 91% alcohol inks and mix them up real good. These will work the same, the 91% alcohol and the archival inks work the same as alcohol ink. So now I'm going to go ahead and future up my tile. I'm going to lay my, in this case I'm doing the reminisce tile, and future on top. And this time I'm going to come in with a paintbrush and just start adding color. Again, adding as much color as I want until I'm happy. That reminisce came out too dark, so I'm going to use that technique to lighten it up. And I'm going to show you one more here, because on this one what happens is that I get some color on her face that I don't want. And so, besides, I had to use up those inks I just made, so... You see the orange in her face. I really don't want that, so I'm going to come in with my wash rag and just erase it. Now, once these tiles are dry, I'm just going to cut off this tissue paper, and you don't have to cut it exactly because I'm going to go around with the score tape and foil them, so you know, I'm going to catch all those edges. You just don't want it to be bumpy. And I'll just take the paper off of all three of these real quick. And so now we're ready to do our foil. Oh, wait, I'm going to put some glitter. I forgot. I'm going to put some glitter on these. And now's the time to do that before the final coat of future. Okay, so now I'm going to put the foil on. And this is the same technique we did before on the images. We're just going to wrap around the sides of the foil with the score tape, burnish it in, and then in this case I'm using the copper, so I'm just going to walk that tile, press that foil in, and I will have a beautiful copper edged tile. I'm going to go around with the pen to bring some of that copper up to the front of the tile. And once that's dry, I can go ahead and copper the front. In the case of Time to Relax, I'm using gold. Again, here I got some silver where I didn't want it, so you can always erase that with your burnishing pen. And now it's time for the final coat of varnish on these stamped images. And make sure all of your foil is covered. I'll do all 3 of these and let them dry. Here's my fridge. They really do stick. They really do hold things. I hope you make a bunch of these for Christmas gifts. It's so nice to have little pieces of art in your kitchen. Bye-bye now.